Ladies and gentlemen, typically I write my scripts for a lot of my videos, but for this video, I did not want to write a script. I didn't want to do that because I wanted this video to be as personable and as live as possible, with my goal being as candid and resonate with the audience to the best way I possibly could. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I made the decision to quit my six-figure salary job at the Big Four, specifically at Deloitte. I'm gonna try to make an analogy to you all, an analogy of what it felt like for me to get a job at Deloitte. So let's just say that you have your first car, right? And it's a beat-up vehicle. It has cloth seats, and if you want to move the seats, use these manual levers to push the seat back and forward. The windows are very mechanical and manual. Everything just feels very old and rugged and non-premium. And then finally, you get your big boy job, you're making good money, and you get your first luxury premium vehicle. And now, my friend, you're sitting in leather seats. Now you don't have to adjust anything via manual levers. You can adjust things and set things via just a push of a button. You don't have to put in your key and twist your key to start your car. You can just push a button and your car starts. That's what it felt like for me to get a job at Deloitte. And for me in that age, it felt like I finally made it in life. But I'll be honest with y'all, getting a job at Deloitte was not easy. Deloitte has a very vigorous interview process where they do a candidate pre-screening and then they make sure that you qualify to go into their networking event where there's going to be a lot of consultants, senior consultants, managers, partners, senior managers in this networking event that you have to go approach, talk to, pretty much sell yourself as a candidate. And then if you pass that, you make it to the interview screening process. There's different panel interviews with multiple different managers, multiple different partners, and then at the end, they have a scenario-based interview process where they give you scenarios where you as an analyst and you as a consultant have to provide us solutions right away. Pretty much what they're trying to do is to see if you are intelligent enough, quick enough, and witted enough to be able to work at a company like Deloitte. I think the stats are there's about 500,000 people that apply at Deloitte every single year, and like less than 2 or 3% of them make it through. And I knew these stats before going into these interviews. That in itself is already pretty intimidating, but luckily, I guess I sold myself well. I passed the interviews, I was confident enough, and I went into it, and I got the job. But ladies and gentlemen, Deloitte's biggest flex and the best part of Deloitte is this thing called Deloitte University, where they send their new hires to get accustomed and acclimated to the Deloitte way, the Deloitte life, by sending them to their own university. Deloitte has its own campus in Dallas, Texas, and this thing is gigantic. It's huge. And it feels like you're almost walking into an episode of Black Mirror because everything's very futuristic, everything's very advanced, everything's very modern, and the best part is that everything in there is free. What I mean by that is that Deloitte has they have these little snack rooms and snack areas, and you walk in there and there's premium snacks, whatever you want, foods, candies, premium drinks, and you can grab as much of it as you want, take it to your room or just walk around with it. And they have a bunch of these locations within the campus. Ladies and gents, they had 2 or 3 different Starbucks within this campus. And the best part was that these were also free. Never in my life have I walked into a Starbucks, gotten a drink, and not had to pay $31 for my 1 cup of coffee, but instead walk out of the Starbucks with a very nice drink or multiple drinks for free. They had this really nice bar area where you walk into it and there's a bunch of games and things that you can play. So the idea was that after you're educated and acclimated within the Deloitte life, and they had these classes that you took from like around 9 o'clock to 3 or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock some days, you go and you kind of de-stress in these business bar area. And there they had drinks, they had a bar area where you wanted to get any sort of smoothies and drinks and whatever you wanted. They had that in there for free. And the items served were delicacy. This wasn't like walking into a regular cafeteria. There's a bunch of different options of different types of foods that you can go and grab as much of it as you want. Go play games with your colleagues and other hires, network, and just de-stress and have fun. And then you go into your room. And speaking of the room, it felt like you were walking into a 4 or 5 star hotel with a nice view of the campus. And again, you had everything in there for you. And again, this whole entire thing felt like a vacation. And it was Deloitte's flex. Just kind of be like, all right, you've made it. Enjoy your 1 or 2 weeks here before you actually get started and get to work. So this point, you're probably like, Deloitte sounds like corporate heaven. Why did you quit? I quit because of a few reasons. I quit because I have always had something going for me, right? And Deloitte, outside of it being such an amazing firm, outside of it being absorbing you into such a luxurious corporate environment and offering you all the different resources that they offer their candidates and their employees, they also expect a lot from you as well. They expect you to be the best possible consultant, analyst, senior consultant, manager that you possibly can. So it wasn't like I go into Deloitte and I have my 8-hour work days that I work for the client. I sign off and then I'm good to go. Outside of the client hours, Deloitte also expected us to do firm initiative hours as well. So there will literally be days where I'll be working for the client for like 8 hours, 7 or 8 hours, or even 9 hours some days. And then I'd realize, shit, I gotta now go do some firm initiatives. I have to go work on this proposal. I gotta go do this marketing thing for Deloitte, or I have to work on something else that Deloitte is expecting me to work on. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is that my work-life balance was complete shit. And for those of you that know anything about me, or if you've seen my latest video of how I made it from $0 to $100,000, in that video you'll notice that I've always had something going for me on the side. I've never relied on my day jobs to be my only source of income. I've always had some sort of business that I've worked on the side. And during the time at Deloitte, where I kind of mentally signed off this corporate world, I slowly started transitioning into real estate as a real estate investor, and I purchased my first investment property, my first renovation project, and this was a very large reno project. So for me to be able to juggle that, manage that, also manage my time for the client, 40, 50 hours for the client, then firm initiative hours for the company and the firm for Deloitte, and then also manage my own life and other things that I had going in my life, like this YouTube channel, it got way too overwhelming to the point where I wasn't producing quality work at Deloitte. I wasn't able to manage this project. I wasn't able to manage my home renovation project. I was not really available and things were going bad. So my decision was very simplified for me. It was either you lose this investment property because you're not there to manage it and these contractors don't really get work done if you're not there, or you have to let one of these things go. And the decision was easy because I knew that I wasn't going to stay in the corporate world for the rest of my life. So I quit because I don't want to lose that investment property. I did not want to lose the money that I've invested in that property. And now luckily the project was done. This property is now a luxury Airbnb that's creating me income every single month. So in a sense, think of Deloitte as like this clingy girlfriend that only wants you for themselves and they expect a lot out of you. And if you don't perform, then they're not happy with you. And Deloitte doesn't want you to do anything else as well. Just like your clingy partner, Deloitte does not want you to work on anything outside of what they want you to do. So I felt very confined into that Deloitte environment. Although it was a good environment, although it was a good company, although I learned a lot, I truly felt like I could not get anything done for myself. But luckily I was able to quit Deloitte, and luckily I was able to go manage this project and get this home fully built. And now the home is a luxury Airbnb that's bringing me income every single month. I believe as individuals, we have this very heavy fear of change. We don't like to bring any sort of big changes in our lives. We are very content individuals, right? So you have all these like the different levers and mechanisms working for you, your lifestyle, your car, your housing situation, your job. These are all different things that come into play and kind of like work into this mechanism that creates your life. You know, there's a few things that are not working properly. There's a few gears and levers that you could change and make a difference, and know that if you do that, your life could be better. But you fear doing that because you're pretty content with your life right now, because you fear that maybe if you change one of these gears or one of these levers, your life might get worse. But it's that fear that sets a lot of us back from the ones that make it out of this corporate rat race and the ones that truly become successful. And even though we have this fear, I do believe that as humans, we're extremely adaptable to any sort of environment and any sort of situation. So it doesn't matter what your situation is. It could be where you're just completely tired of this 9-to-5 life and you're like, dude, I can't take it anymore. I need to quit. I gotta figure something out. It could be where you're in my situation and you have this $1 million investment, and either you pick your day job at Deloitte or you lose your $1 million property. It was an easy decision for me. Or it could be a situation where you have something else going for you, sort of a business, which is also my situation as well, and you want to give that more time. But my suggestion to you would be that no matter what your scenario is, make sure that you have some sort of a budget set. Make sure that you have some sort of a savings plan that you know now that you have this income gap from quitting your job, having an understanding, how many months can I thrive without having an income? And then planning everything out after that. Having a very good planned strategy for filling that income gap to pretty much working for yourself and making either the same amount of money or any sort of an income that will get you through your day-to-day life, and then hopefully increase that income as the years go by. So the idea is always to make sure that you plan and make a very educated strategy before you take that leap to quitting your job. Thank you all for watching. Remember, as always, like the video and subscribe to the channel to join the family. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.